Welcome to my first ever knitting vlog. I am a very beginner knitter. As a little bit of like a background, I learned how to crochet, I want to say probably 4 years ago at this point. I would also say that I have pretty much mastered crochet. Like, I got really good at it. I know all my stitches, I can go pretty fast. I can handle my tension pretty well and everything. But I have rarely ever finished a crochet project. The only ones that I can remember that I have finished is I have finished a sweater that I crocheted, and it turned out horribly for many reasons. I have like almost finished like granny square projects and stuff, but I just have never again like fully put together and finished a crochet project because I have never really liked any of my crochet projects. And like I said, I basically like mastered it, so it's not like they would turn out necessarily bad. It's just for the things that I like to make, the things that I like to wear, I don't think crochet is the best option to make those things. So I have been wanting to learn how to knit for a couple years now, but I always just put it off or avoided it because I felt like it would be too hard, or I don't know, I just didn't feel like sitting down and taking the time to learn it, but I have. I think I am about like a month and a half into my knitting journey, and as like a previous crocheter, somebody who's pretty confident in crocheting, I picked up knitting pretty quickly. I mean, there's obviously things that I am still learning and such, but I was already used to like holding yarn and tensioning it and stuff, so the transition was pretty quick. I would say it was just like my first project that was kind of tough, and after that they have progressively gotten easier and easier. I am currently working on project number 5, so this is my 5th project ever. It is a cat ear balaclava. This is my first balaclava. I have not made a balaclava yet, and so the yarn I spun together, or I caked together this like random brown yarn that was unlabeled at my local yarn store, but I'm just pretty sure it's acrylic because it was so cheap. And then this is, I'm pretty sure, like some sort of mohair. I have another one that has the label on it, so I will include what yarn it is, but I put those two together to make this. I'm not like obsessed with how it's turning out, just because when I bought this mohair, I thought that it would be different colors. Like the way that it was rolled up, I could not see that it had pink, like a pinky purple in it, or like, yeah, so it turns out it's a lot more rainbow than I thought. But I'm working on this. I have made the bigger portion of it already. I'm just now going to shape the tongue, and then it's just going to be a lot of sewing together and then making a quick ribbing for the bottom. So far, this has been my most successful project in the sense that I do not have any twisted stitches on here. My first project, I didn't realize I was twisting my stitches, but it's fine. It's very common with beginner knitters. If you don't know what twisting your stitch is, it basically just means, like, with knitting, what's really important is where you stick your needle through to create another loop, and I was just sticking my needle through the wrong place. This is actually like stretchy. I don't have any drop stitches. I don't have any holes. I do have like a couple extra stitches, I'm pretty sure. I think I put in like 2 extra. Don't know how that happened, but it did. But so far, this has been my most perfect, close to perfect project yet. So I'm gonna work on this. I also will probably have to spin more yarn together because I'm about to go through this, but I'm gonna sit here and work on this for a little bit. Let's do it.
7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. You can stream it on Amazon, Roku, Samsung TV Plus. Samsung TV Plus is one thing.
Yeah.
But there's also other things.
You were gonna say plus more stuff.
So if you got those smart TVs, you got Mythical 24/7 for free.
The second floor. Known to be a hotbed of paranormal activity, it's where the ladies of the choice. What are some of the stories we hear from that second floor from folks?
Well, there's mob stories, there's ghosts. so I can see the stitches in between. They look kind of like rungs. If you were sewing sweater pieces together, you might have left a long tail to do your seam with. Otherwise, you can just leave 4 to 6 inches like I did here, and you can move that in.
Okay, so this is what I meant by the yarn looked very different in the store than when I like put it into a cake. Like this is tealish, navy maybe, and orange, and I loved it. But like I showed you guys, it has like pink and purple and like even some blue, which I guess I should have checked the middle, but I mean, I just assumed that this would be the color of the yarn. Surprise! I finished my balaclava, so after I sewed it, obviously, I did the ribbing at the bottom. It was fairly simple, and I actually really love it. I know I was like a little bit iffy about the colors and everything, but I think they turned out really nice. And I think, like I mentioned, or maybe I didn't, the brown acrylic kind of helps it feel a little bit more autumnal instead of like too rainbow. But I think it turned out great. The seaming of my sew job is kind of like not amazing, but this is like my closest to perfect project yet. Like this finally feels like something that I would actually find in a store or something. It also actually ended up slightly bigger, I think, than what the pattern intends, because this is not blocked and I will not be blocking it because it's literally the perfect size and fit. And I think if I blocked it, it would be a little bit too floppy because I'm already getting some floppage in the ears, but this is so warm. Like, I hope that in Texas we get hit with like some really cold weather because this is going to be super handy. And there's people doing construction in my house today. Not inside, but like outside. Like they're doing like some sort of electrical utility thing like the city is. And my Wi-Fi doesn't work or anything. So I had been planning to visit a new yarn store this week, but like later on after I get a hold of my yarn collection. But looks like I'll just be going today. So let's go. I went to a yarn store that I've never been to, and it ended up being more of like a needlepoint store. They had some yarn, but not a ton. I initially had gone in thinking of getting some sort of yarn for like a full in the round sweater, just because I feel like I'm getting closer to being able to do that. But I didn't see anything I liked. I, however, did see this Louise Harding poof yarn. They had something knitted up. They had a hat knitted up in this colorway of it. And I was like, oh, I need to make something with that. So I ended up getting 2 little balls, little skeins, and I found a free vest pattern that kind of matches up with the weight of this yarn. And I think a vest is like a good, like first big project maybe, because it's kind of like a sweater just without the sleeves. So I'm excited. Okay, Hello. I'm in a new knitting spot because I kind of got tired of being in our little game room. Yesterday, you guys saw me walking on my little walking pad for knitting. I had seen somebody else do that on TikTok, and I had been debating getting a walking pad for so long because as somebody that works from home and has a job that like just requires a lot of sitting, I live a super sedentary lifestyle currently. I get my workouts in and everything, but I just don't get in enough steps. So I'm still getting used to walking on the walking pad and knitting. I definitely knit a lot slower while I'm walking, but I did get really ahead on my vest. Let me show you. So I'm currently working on the increases for the back of the vest because it's the back panel. And everything so far is working out pretty good. Weirdly, my gauge is like slightly too big, which I didn't expect. And if you don't know what gauge is literally just 4 stitches matching the stitches of the pattern to essentially produce the same size garment that you're attempting to make with said pattern. And mine is like slightly too big. It's about 1 stitch too big each way, which I wasn't expecting because this pattern calls for a 7mm knitting needle and I only have either 6.5 or 8. And I just felt like 6.5 was probably the best bet because it's closer to 7. And also, I was like, I'll just make an extra large instead of a large because I do want this vest to be pretty loose on me. I don't want it to be super, super tight. The pattern does it does make a pretty tight cropped vest, and I just don't want it to be that tight. So I'm doing an extra large to compensate for the 6.5 needles, but even then it seems like the gauge is big. But even like, I don't know, the back panel seems like a good size. It doesn't seem too big or anything yet. So right now I'm working on the increasing rows. The first bottom half of it, as I was working up, it has a lot of purple, and I was like, oof, maybe I don't like this yarn. But now I'm getting to the more pinky green parts and I really like it. But that's just how I am. I feel like sometimes when I get yarn that isn't like super neutral, I get scared that it won't be something I'll actually wear. And I love how with my balaclava, I literally said, I'm scared it's too rainbow. Ended up loving it, as we saw, but I then went and picked up like the brightest possible yarn ever. But I'm enjoying it. This is like a really fun yarn to knit. At first it was kind of hard because the stitches are a little bit more difficult to see. It's like super light and airy and soft. So I'm just having a blast as it like self-stripes and works up more color. Here she is so far. I know I had said that I was wanting a long vest, but I actually do kind of enjoy the crop. But I am glad I went with the extra large because I wanted it to be nice and loose. But I think the crop is sitting really nicely because I imagine myself honestly wearing it over something with like large sleeves. So I just cast it off the front hem. They have an option on this pattern, which I haven't even told you guys what pattern I'm following, but I found a free vest pattern for like bulky or super bulky. Is it supposed to be bulky or super bulky? I don't even know. Chunky weight, bulky weight yarn. It is by Maker by Emily Bolduan. Emily Bolduan. I'm so sorry I'm mispronouncing that, but it's completely free on Ravelry. And like I said, I just did the front hem. They have an option for you to either do a standard hem, like a full one, or a split hem. But I thought that because this yarn and just like the style I'm going for is so chunky and loose, I felt like if I did a standard hem, it might like cinch it in a way that I don't want. So I think the split hem is going to help it sit really nicely. That part of the ribbing is done. And then I got to do the back. And then I'll just have obviously the arm and neck ribbing, which is super exciting. I have gone to town on this bad boy because I have not had Wi-Fi still here at home. So I'm pretty limited on what I can do for work because all of my work is on my desktop anyway. So it's not even like I can take my laptop to a cafe. Like I can do some things, but I can just do stuff on my iPad. So I've been going to town on this. I worked it in the round for this chunk, which is why up here we see like a nice soft gradient, and then down here there's like a heavier striping of the yarn. But yeah, I worked it in the round. It was my first time working in the round, which I was so nervous for no reason, but like I just always worked in flat in my last projects, but knitting in the round, I'm a fan. I'm a fan because I don't have to purl and I just keep going and going and going, and I just, you know, put a little stitch marker where the round starts and I can just go to town without really thinking about it, at least with like regular just stockinette. So a little progress I'm showing you.
What are single crochet one, chain one, single crochet one? I'm not sure. I do want to make sure that the bag is really sturdy, but at the same time, I don't want it to be like really stiff, you know? So I'm gonna have to probably try a few different methods.
Okay, so I went to my favorite yarn store in all of Houston, Nancy's Knits, and I got some Noro yarn. I have been thinking about this Noro yarn since I saw it in her store the first time I ever went in. It is the Tasogare color number 8, and I just find out that it's limited edition. So I'm really glad that I went and got it today because she actually only had like 4 skeins left, and 3 is just enough for me. So I got these 3. It's just, this is like literally my favorite colors. So I'm really excited about it. Also just picked up this circular needle because sometimes I prefer metal and my interchangeable set is wooden. Quick update on my current project that I am about to finish. Hey! Ta-da! So I finished the back ribbing like I said, and then I have done the neck and one arm ribbing today. The neck one, this was my 3rd attempt. The first time I accidentally picked up the stitches on the wrong side, so like the seaming was showing. The second time I put in way too many stitches, but this time it's perfect. And now I just have this armband to do, which honestly is gonna take me like maybe 20 to 30 minutes. So And then I'll be done. I'll weave in the ends and I'll be done. Oh my goodness. Ta-da! My sweater vest has been blocked. I blocked it overnight, and she is nearly perfect. The only issue that I had is one of the armbands has like a few too many stitches, and I even tried to decrease, but it still ended up like slightly wonky. I'm pretty sure it's this one, yeah. There's like, I wish I could have done like maybe 4 less stitches, but I wasn't about to frog it and not do it. Like, I knew that whenever I blocked it, it would relax a lot, and it did. Yes, here she is. I am done. I am about to go on a trip just for Thanksgiving week, and I'm gonna be taking my knitting bag with me, and I just wanted to show you guys my knitting bag and what I will be taking with me, because this is the end of the vlog. This vest is the last project for the vlog, so I'll show you guys what I will start working on soon. This knitting bag is by Suya or Sula. It's marketed as just like a craft bag in general, and I have gotten ads for this over the years so many times, but just never had a use for it. And then when I picked up knitting, I was constantly carrying around this just like collection of stuff and plopping it down in different surfaces of my house, and then like whenever I would go out and want to knit, I would just like stuff it in my bag and then plop it out. So I was like, maybe I should find a solution for that, and also so that like I could have all of my tools with me whenever I'm knitting and not like sit down, knit, and then be like, oh, I need my scissors. I need to get up, get my scissors, and then be like, oh, I need my darning needle, and then get up and get my darning needle. I have her in this dark green color. On the front, I have my few crochet hooks that I have, and like there's even more little pockets, and there's pockets up here too, which is crazy. And then on this side, I have this old Welly first aid kit. We went through it, I had gotten this years ago for whenever we travel that we could have like band-aids and stuff. And then we went through it, and this is my favorite color, so I kept it, and now I actually have a use for it. So I have like all of my stitch markers in here. I even have this stitch marker holder with like a bunch of little stitch markers in it in here. And then I have a few darning needles in here as well. So just like small stuff that's like easy to lose goes in here in this little side pocket. I have my knitting gauge ruler up here as well. And then in here, I have my cable, what are they called? Stitch stoppers, cable stoppers, whatever. I got these in here because this is probably like the best thing I've gotten since I started knitting. It's so handy. On this side, we got some more pockets. So these pockets here, and then there's the big ones again up here as well. I just have the 2 stitch holders that I have, my new and very fancy scissors that are only for cutting yarn. They're from the brand Ginger, and they come in this leather holder, which is really nice, but it's just like classic stork motif. Like I said, I was constantly getting up and needing to get scissors, and all of my scissors are shit. So I got those. I also have like a huge darning needle just here. And then I have like a few little buttons and decorations. I have my Oyajichi Tamagotchi plush here. And then over on this side, I don't think I have, yeah, I don't have anything in this big pocket, but Here I have all of my stitch counting tools. So I have 2 of the like ka-cha ones. I forgot what they're called, but it's like the ones that make noise. And this is good for large projects, like for when I don't need to be constantly using a row counter. And then I have this ring one for when I am constantly needing to count rows and stitches. I use this for my Sophie scarf, and I feel like it made the process a lot easier. And then this one I recently picked up. I haven't used it yet, but it's just one of the stitch marker row and also row counter combo little guys. So I have that as well. It's like for knitting in the round and stuff. And then on this side, I have all of my metal circular needles. These are needles that I picked up before I got my interchangeable set because I wasn't sure if I was super serious about knitting, which obviously I am, but these were just ones I picked up because each little thing is like $6, $7 maybe. So I was just picking these up as I was like needing them. And then inside, it's so spacious, so roomy. And inside there's like the big pocket and then there's 2 side pockets right here. And on one of the side pockets, I keep my set of interchangeable cables because I switch cables a lot more than I switch needles. So I have that like more readily available. And then this is the actual set. It's just the Takumi Combo Clover interchangeable knitting needle set. It's like the one that they have at Michael's. And Michael's always has like sales and coupons. So I picked this one up. Standard needle set. I do eventually want to get a metal one because now that I've gotten better at knitting, I prefer the metal because you can go faster with it and the yarn like slips off a little bit easier. And I just have 2 caked up yarns for projects that I will be taking on my trip. So I will be doing the Loopy Studio cardigan with this yarn just because I really love the pattern. I know it's supposed to be like a scrappy pattern and I probably will make it again, but I just love the shape of that cardigan. So that's what I'll be using my Noro yarn for. And then I have this yarn from Pearlwise Coffee. It's very similar to this one, but I would say this one's like slightly more dense and it doesn't have the like little poofs, the little balls. And I will be knitting a like skinny scarf with this. So this will be like my chill project and this will be, and the cardigan will be my challenge project because I am really nervous to make the cardigan, but I have those in here and it's just really handy because whenever I'm like pausing my project, I just shove it in here with the yarn and everything. And I take it with me everywhere that I go right now. So thank you for joining. Actually, you know what? I need to put this on something. Thank you for joining. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is my first little knitting vlog, so I had a lot of fun vlogging it and everything, and it was super actually kind of convenient that I didn't have Wi-Fi for like a week because I was able to just go to town on this vest and ended up finishing it within like 6 days. So you guys got to see like the final product. If you are not familiar with me, I am an illustrator, an artist, and I make a lot of different content here on YouTube, but also on Instagram. I also have a Patreon page with a Rizo and sticker club. So if you're interested, check those out. But for now, I will see you guys in the next one. So before closing out today's video, I wanted to quickly talk about our sponsor, which is of course Squarespace. If you don't know who Squarespace is, they're an all-in-one platform where you can create your very own website. And it is a platform that I have always used to run my website, my online art business, my portfolio. I even take inquiries for my little Rizo press on there now. They just have so many tools that make it really useful for Squarespace to be like this all-in-one website for all of the different things that I do. Their commerce tool is like, I think, my favorite because it just tracks all of my orders, all of my customer data, inventory, all of the stuff that tends to like not be as fun, and I can kind of get overwhelmed when handling it all on my own, so Squarespace takes care of that. I also recently made over my website slightly, so if you are interested in Squarespace, you can go to squarespace.com for a free trial and you can use my code for 10% off your first purchase.